U.S. President Donald Trump said he is not happy after Russia launched its deadliest wave of attacks on Kyiv in 9 months, telling President Vladimir Putin to stop, as he attempts to push Ukraine to agree on a contentious ceasefire proposal. Moscow sent 70 missiles and 145 drones toward Ukraine, mainly targeting Kyiv, in an attack that leader Volodymyr Zelensky said was aimed at pressuring the United States. "I am not happy with the Russian strikes on Kyiv. Not necessary and very bad timing. Vladimir, stop. 5,000 soldiers a week are dying. Let's get the peace deal done," Trump wrote on Truth Social on Wednesday. At least 8 people died in the attacks, and more may be trapped under rubble. Emergency services said Moscow's attacks struck 13 locations in Kyiv, including residential buildings and civilian infrastructure. Ukraine's emergency services earlier reported that 9 people had died and more than 60 had been wounded. It was the costliest attack on the city since July 2024, when 33 people were killed in an aerial barrage that targeted a hospital and residential districts. Zelensky said during a trip to South Africa that the bombardment was first and foremost aimed at pressuring the U.S. He sought to push back against Trump's efforts to corral Kyiv into making concessions, telling reporters, "The fact that Ukraine is ready to sit down at a negotiating table after a full ceasefire with terrorists is a big compromise." Trump posted on Wednesday that he is not happy with Russia's attacks. Reuters/Getty Images. Russia's defense ministry said it carried out a massive strike with high-precision long-range air, land, and sea-based weapons, unmanned aerial vehicles on enterprises of the aviation, missile and space, mechanical engineering, and armored industries of Ukraine, production of rocket fuel and gunpowder. The strike objectives were achieved. All targets were hit, Moscow said. A search and rescue operation is underway to find people caught under rubble, according to Ukrainian local and national authorities. Following the attacks on Kyiv, Zelensky announced he was cutting short his visit to South Africa, where he landed late on Wednesday, to return to Ukraine. "It is extremely important that everyone around the world sees and understands what is really happening," he said, adding that Ukraine would immediately contact its international partners regarding its request to strengthen air defenses. "The first thing I felt was fear," Irina Zen, a resident of an affected neighborhood, disclosed on Wednesday. "You don't understand anything when you wake up at night from an explosion. You are alive, but your parents, children, you don't know if they're alive or was a hit. We went to the corridor, it was safer there, and started calling our relatives to find out whether they were alive or not," she said. "And when we came outside and saw everything, it was a horror." Engineers, rescue workers, and recovery dogs were searching on Wednesday for people believed to be trapped under the rubble of a home destroyed by the strikes in the Svyatoshin district, said Ukraine's Interior Minister Ihor Klimenko. A man aged 21 and his 19-year-old sister were among those who died, according to Zelensky. The city's mayor Vitaly Klitschko earlier urged people to take shelter. The Kyiv City Military Administration has since broadcast an all-clear message. "Rescuers are doing everything they can to clear the rubble as quickly as possible," the mayor said on Telegram. "We are currently clearing the rubble manually. We are not using any equipment because there may still be people under the rubble." At least 42 people were taken to hospital, including 6 children, according to Ukraine's emergency services. Klimenko said 8 regions of the country were targeted in what he called a massive combined Russian attack that also hit Zhytomyr, Dnipro, Kharkiv, Poltava, Khmelnytsky, Sumy, and Zaporizhia. 5 ballistic missiles were among those that made it through Ukraine's defenses, according to the Air Force. An injured woman sits with her dog near a house destroyed by a Russian airstrike. Yevgeny Malaletka/AP. The Russian attacks hit after Trump and Zelensky became involved in a new public spat, specifically over the future of Crimea, the Ukrainian peninsula illegally annexed by Russia in 2014. As part of its mission to seal a peace deal to end the 3-year war, the U.S. administration has proposed recognizing Russian control of Crimea. Officials familiar with the details have said such a move would reverse a decade of U.S. policy and could upset the widely held post-World War II consensus that international borders should not be changed by force. Zelensky has repeatedly said Ukraine would not accept that, saying it would go against the country's constitution. On Wednesday, Trump said Zelensky's position was very harmful to the peace negotiations with Russia. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky arrives in South Africa on Wednesday, hours after U.S. President Donald Trump accused him of harming peace talks. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky arrives in South Africa on Wednesday, hours after U.S. President Donald Trump accused him of harming peace talks, courtesy of the Ukrainian presidency. Its inflammatory statement